Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Drip Drop Distro Studio. I'm Mikey. I'm here with a couple of my old friends, the oldest friends that I have here. These guys have been here for longer than anybody else outside of myself. And I wanted to run a show with them, see what they thought about everything, talk to them a little bit about their tenure here, about the processes. So yeah, let's get it going. This is Jacki and Noah. Both of them work in the warehouse operations. They run it. They make sure you guys are getting your packages whenever you order. So let's start off with Jacki. So Noah came a little after. That's why I wanted to start off with you, if that's all right. So
about a month after, but okay.
Yeah, not long
November.
after.
2 months. 2 months. Sorry.
Well,
okay.
What led you to come here in the first place, and how did you? There's a little bit of history with you and Doug. We all know that, but these people don't know that. Could you tell us a little about that and why you started off at Drip Drop?
Do you want me to tell you their whole story, the real story?
Well, we can condense it a little. But
Okay.
So do the real.
Anyway, I worked with Doug's brother Dustin at bodybuilding.com. Also, Dustin is friends with, and Doug are friends with my son Tyler. So they're all good friends. I was golfing one time at a Jaden DeLuca golf tournament, and I'd had too much to drink. I fell out of the cart.
Oh, yeah.
And at that time,
Tale as old as
Dustin
time.
introduced me to his brother Doug, and that's where I met Doug when I was falling out of the cart. Fast forward 3 years, Doug said he needs to get a shipping manager in there in the warehouse. And Dustin goes, I know the best one. He goes, Jacki Bowen. And Doug goes, the drunk that fell out of the cart? Yeah. He goes, trust me, she's a bulldog, get her. And that's how I started working at Drip Drop.
That is how we recruit people typically. You either got to be drunk, there's got to be something going on. We don't just pull people off the streets. So, well, we do. But it's typically tied to an event. And Noah, you have a little bit of family tied to the company, and you have some roots in here. So why don't you explain that to us?
Yeah, so I started about 6 years ago, and then so Troy's my uncle by marriage, so not actually my uncle, so no one can give me shit about it. But started there, and then Jacki actually let an employee go to hire me.
Oh, I did. I got in trouble
So I
for
got
that.
on board. I was always coming in to help with any of the capital orders, TCD at the time, and then I finally got the job, and then here we are today, luckily.
Yeah, it's been quite the ride. And you guys were also here for one of the moves. We've had, so a little context, we've had 3 warehouse moves. Well, actually, technically 2 warehouse moves, 3 warehouses total. When we very first started, when I was here in 2015, in the very beginning, we were in a small warehouse in Meridian, Idaho. And it was probably, I want to say it was like a 20 by 30 garage, basically, plus a 20 by 15 office. And that was prior to meeting Jacki or Noah. We moved within the first 2 years to the Garden City warehouse, and kind of started building it out, but it didn't really take off as far as the operations went. It was kind of, a bunch of, I guess, amateurs throwing shit in boxes until Jacki and Noah showed up. And, there was a lot of stuff going on. We were manufacturing things in-house. So it wasn't just people on the phone calling. There was people on the phone calling, but we were also running production, and we had so few employees. It was kind of like whoever manufactured things would also ship things. And there was a lot of nights spent at the office. And then, yeah, Jacki came along for once we were at in the Garden City warehouse. And I think, Noah, you came in shortly before we moved up here to Commerce Avenue, right?
We were there for about 2 years.
Oh, so you were still down
2
there
to
for
3
a
years,
while?
yeah.
Yeah. My timeline's a little bit off.
Before Bedrock became a thing.
I lost a lot of brain
I was on the
cells.
Bedrock
Yeah.
side.
Oh,
And then you and Brendan were doing the
that's right.
juice.
That's right. So how was it? Because it's people around here know, people see it every day. Noah and Jacki are the odd couple of all odd couples, and they are somehow best friends. Jacki's got a little bit of time under her belt as far as life goes. I'm not going to reveal her age. Noah has not so much. But how did you guys bond so much? I know it's kind of more than just a work relationship. You guys have become actual friends. How did that happen?
Well, I kind of think I'm the mom.
Sure.
So he's always treats me with respect.
As much as I can.
He likes to argue.
Not always.
He's
Not
learned a lot. It took me a lot to beat everything into him, but he's learning all the time.
Physical abuse, by the way.
And I fired him a couple of times.
Tried to.
Yeah.
We'd get in fights, and I would say,
Noah's, just so everyone knows, Noah's had some not long, but he's had some extended absence.
Yeah.
anyway, I fired him a few times and hired him right back. But I remember the last time I fired you, said, you really want to fire me?
Yeah, because she kept.
Because I was really busy, and I said, well, can you wait till we get done, and then I'll fire you at the end of the day?
Yeah. Get done with it. Yeah, because she would always talk. So when she worked at bodybuilding, all the time, all the time, she'd say, bodybuilding this, at bodybuilding we do this. One time, I was very aggressive, and I said, shut the F up. Quit talking about bodybuilding. We're not bodybuilding. It's a mom and pop shop. And then she said, get the hell out. You're fired. And then that's when I said, you're really going to fire me right now? We don't have anybody right now. And she's like, all right, just go home. We'll talk about it tomorrow. And then ever since then, I don't hear bodybuilding.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it sounds
a risk I was willing to take.
Sure. No,
And
you
I hear it a little
threw
bit.
it up. I get it. And it sounds like, as with every relationship, there's been ups and downs.
Oh, yeah.
which typically makes them stronger. But yeah, we all have a lot of fun watching you guys. And just so everybody knows that's listening, if anybody out there is a customer, which I'm assuming some of you are, these guys are the people that get your stuff to you. So it's fun that we have a family dynamic. These guys make it a lot of fun out there, but they also mean business. I believe the warehouse and the operations, like I said, it was the Wild West back in the day. But since Jacki came in, and she came in from a little bit more of a structured background, you're the first department to kind of bring SOPs into the building. And for anybody that doesn't know what that is, I'm sure most of you do, but it's a standard operating procedure. And the reason why I want to cover that and why it's interesting is because that really brings your business up to another level. And I know that might sound cliche, but it's true. When you create things like standard operating procedures and they're implemented and they're written well and they're available for people, it brings a huge amount of professionality to the workplace. And so what instigated the SOP creations?
Well, I've worked at Micron, I've worked at Preco, I've worked at bodybuilding, and they've all had SOPs. And SOPs, I love SOPs because it tells them how to do the job, how to do it correctly. So as long as they're following the SOP, this order is going to be received right, put away right, shipped out right. Yeah. So it just makes a difference, and it holds people accountable for what they're doing.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, for sure. I came from a couple more, I guess, a couple bigger places that had the same thing, SOPs available to people. And you're right, accountability is big. It really is. And those things, they're great for training, but they're really great for just the solidarity overall of the company. And that pertains to every department. Had you had any experience before
No.
helping with that?
So no, I didn't know anything about SOPs. And then, so when we first started, we had no locations in our system. Me and Josh Palmer, we memorized where everything was. We'd pick orders, put them on a cart, and we just verify them. And then Jacki comes along, and she's like, "We're gonna start locating everything." And I said, "F this, screw this. This is dumb. We already know where everything is." Me and Josh were in a fume about it, and then it's a really good idea, and it worked
Yeah,
out.
I was about to say the funny thing is that
It works
it's
out.
so not dumb. Everybody that's
Yeah.
a legitimate business does it, and that's a whole nother puzzle that a lot of people, because everybody does it differently. It's kind of funny because there are books about this kind of stuff. There are frameworks built around this kind of stuff. But I've worked at, same as Jacki, multiple different warehouses where order selecting is one thing they call it, but also order picking is done. And locations are, I couldn't imagine having more than 100 SKUs without locations. Even at 100 SKUs, I would want locations. Maybe it's just because it's like built into me. But it's so funny though, because I understand where you're coming from. You've memorized it all.
Now it's built into me.
Yes, but now if we were to expand this place, or you were to move on to another place or build another company, you got that under your belt, and it's very important. Yeah, it's very, very important. I kind of want to give a little bit of a story about Jacki.
Oh, great.
Yes, I know. I have many of them, but this is a really
Keep
good
it
one.
clean, Mikey.
So Jacki's I would call her, probably, to put it lightly, Again, she's much better now than she ever was before. She's a lunatic, probably.
Firecracker.
Would you agree? Yeah, she's a firecracker.
Firecracker.
Okay, firecracker. We won't go lunatic. She's
Ones that go underwater too.
She's no, but in the best possible way. She's full of passion, we like to say, but really, she's got more than a dash of insanity. And early on, so we were in a building. Jackie, you're gonna remember this. When we were in a building down in Garden City, Idaho, and I know that doesn't mean much to people out there, but Garden City is kind of historically, if you're local to this area, known as a less than welcoming area. There's a lot of there's a lot of crime. There's a lot more. We were broke and we had to get a cheap warehouse, and it happened to be in Garden City. It's kind of the shittier part of the area, and so Jackie, being herself and being on edge, because she's Jackie, would show. She was the first person to start showing up to the warehouse before me. I'm an early bird. I always get to the warehouse early. I wake up early. I work early. Back then I was working late, get there early, leave super late. And Jackie kind of started mopping the floor with me. I was thinking like, oh, I'm big tough guy showing up at 5:30 in the morning. Jackie would be there already. But she was going there alone in the dark, which I understand, especially in that area. When we first moved into that building before Jackie was here, actually, we had to clear out homeless people almost every morning.
Oh, wow.
I would show up and there would be, and it wasn't like this hostile thing, but I would show up and there would be homeless people sleeping by the dumpsters. And we were like, well, we're starting business production. We got employees showing up. You guys got to go. And so yeah, it was a sketchy area. And I remember watching Jackie. I started to see her show up before me, and she always had the doors locked. So she would show up, unlock, come inside, lock them back up behind her. Well, there was one day where I got to work and I came in a little quieter than normal, and I don't know if I was doing it on purpose. I can't remember that much detail, but Jackie's in the warehouse, which was separated by a normal door from the sales floor, and I entered through the sales floor. And so I made no noise coming in, and I went up to the door to open the warehouse up, because she would come in and lock everything behind her so that she was all alone out there. And I start to kind of jiggle the door handle, and I hear Jackie, not knowing it's me, going, "Who the fuck is out there? Who the fuck is out there?" And she's going, "I got guns. I got a gun." And I I turn the key, and I know that she meant that she may have actually had a gun, but the funniest part was I opened the door and she had 2 tape guns in her hand. So she was accurate. Oh no, you would have loved to have seen it. She was at the highest level of stress, and she was trying to kill me, who she thought was someone breaking into the building legitimately. And but that's the beautiful thing. It was like a full bluff, but she did have guns, 2 of them. She had a tape gun in each hand.
They were the only thing right there to grab.
Yeah, so Jackie will protect you. That's really what I'm getting to here. So anyways, back to what we were talking about before. I just wanted to share that with people because it was hilarious to me. And Jackie's not much different now. It's been years. She's calmed down, but she's also very
old.
Again, passionate. She's getting older and a little bit more relaxed. But she'll still beat you to death with a fucking tape gun. So don't fuck around. Next, I wanted to kind of. I wouldn't say next. I would say leading off the back of the conversation about the SOPs and the slotting and picking. What other processes, and this will be for other business owners out there, what other processes are important when because shipping is a part of it, but what do we do here to stay accurate? What do we do here to make sure that we're communicating shipping information to the customer? That's something that you guys have also built out, kind of from a framework, but really everybody's unique to their own place. So I'd like for you guys to explain to people, how do they pick these orders, get them out, and maintain, tracking numbers and communication without too many speed bumps? How have you gotten that process so smooth?
Well, one thing, when you're slotting product, you want to make sure how it sells. So you want to slot it based on how many times we're going to pick that item.
Like
so
the volume that's moving out.
Yep. So fast volume items, we're going to have it closer to the scan station, so the pickers have less steps to make, so it's just more efficient. Sure. And by locating stuff, and always put the stuff in the same spot when they're doing cycle counts or receiving, they know right where stuff goes because it tells us in the system.
I know that we're kind of in the ecosphere of Zoho. If nobody knows what, everybody uses an ERP. That's the one that we use. I guess I don't need to I'm not trying to get an explanation of exactly what our process is, but I guess more so like what kind of stuff have we run into that have been like, you know, mountains for us to climb that you've gotten over that has created this smoothness. So like when it comes to scanning product out, should people be scanning product out, or should they just be, you know, packing it up? Should they use a checker that's human, or should they actually use a scan gun? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
So scanning everything, I mean, it beats everything rather than a physical person verifying it, because there's more room for error, and the system, you know, most likely most of the time doesn't have an error that happens. So normally it's a human mistake that happens. But when we first started, we didn't have any scanning out processes. So Jacki created a Excel sheet that we used to scan out everything.
So when you say that, do you mean you would input the order and the quantities into the sheet and then scan, and it would happen inside of the Excel sheet, all of the data?
Yeah.
I could
mean, you
print out the
ex-
sales
yeah.
order. We would have the sales order, and then we could scan it.
Scan
Because
it
Soho
into
would
an
scan
Excel.
it first.
Yeah,
Because
first.
we got Soho in 2018.
Yeah.
So you'd just print out a sales order and scan it against that, and it would populate in Excel.
Now we'd
and
scan the UPC codes.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, and see that those are the kind of things that I'm talking about. That's really important. Like that whole process, and I know that Jim helped build that out probably because he's kind of our Excel or in-house Excel wizard. Everybody needs one of those, by the way. Everybody needs someone who's an expert in Excel, and we have one. His name's Jim. He's Jacki's wife. He's phenomenal.
Jackie's wife.
Jacki's husband. Oh.
Well, sometimes I kind of want
Nothing wrong with it.
He does do the
Nothing wrong with
cooking and
it.
the groceries, so yeah.
But that's important.
It's
for
kinda
people.
that way.
That's important
Not
for
really.
It's important for people to know, because I know that, like you said in the beginning, and this is an argument that goes all the way up to larger scale companies. Like I worked at a company here in Idaho called Hayden Beverage, and Hayden
This
Beverage
building,
in this
actually.
building,
In
yes,
this exact building?
yes, that's kind of the serendipity of my life, at least. I worked in this building for years for Hayden Beverage, and then Hayden Beverage moved to a bigger building, and we just happened to do business with the people that purchased this building, and it's a monster, this building. Yes, we moved into it kind of serendipitously. Here I am again. It's really incredible. But what I was getting at is that Hayden Beverage, which I loved, it was a phenomenal job. It taught me a ton about warehousing, a ton about logistics and shipping, and just distribution in general. So we would pick, you know, incredible amounts of orders. They were all locally. This isn't, Jacki's comes from a totally different background. But we didn't ever scan anything there. And we had it was a pretty robust system. It took more people to do it, and you had to have really high quality guys. And, you know, the turnover rate back then it wasn't really that bad, but it was kind of like the cream rose to the top sort of a scenario. And so we had good pickers, and, you know, that's not always something you can lean on. There's a reason why people scan. But like I'm saying, it's confusing, because you could come from a company like Hayden that makes, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars a year, wildly successful. They don't use scan guns at all. But you come from a place like bodybuilding, who's in the same category, hundreds of millions of dollars a year, wildly successful. They do use scan guns. So it's important to know that everybody's got their own thing, and everybody has their own pathway. But it's kind of one of those things where you can either have speed or accuracy, but you can't have both. You can do that to the best of your ability. With scanning, it's like you can, well, the way it's set up here is really smart, because you kind of can do both in this warehouse. And that comes from a lot of the knowledge that Jacki has brought from her previous experience, and then also Noah implementing it and training it and refining it. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is that these type of things are good for people to know that may be coming up, maybe starting to do distribution, and they don't know if it's or if scanning is even an option, scanning things out, and you know, in order to retain order accuracy. It's a huge deal for people to hear that they're not alone if they're struggling with it, and there are answers, and you can be just dynamic and come up with your own process.
Yeah, we when we first started with Zoho, there wasn't any locations to put a location, so we had to have Austin do a custom field so we could actually put locations in the system to print out on the pick list.
Yeah, they didn't come like out of the box.
So then, I mean, so we've had stations we built, and they would actually run the item by a scanner.
Yeah.
And they would scan, and there'd just be this little scanner here. Now we've got to the point where we have a little tiny scanner on our finger, so they can actually pick something up and scan it, put in the box as they do it. So there you're getting efficiency.
Sure.
Noah also has his team scan any pallet order out. So we have like little tablets. What are they? iPads.
Yeah.
iPads with little. Then we use the little finger scanner. So anything that leaves this warehouse is scanned, and The only time they wouldn't scan every item would be like if we have a sealed master case, they would make sure what's in it, but they wouldn't have to open anything up. But if it's an open package, they'll scan every item in that thing. Even if it's the same item, they scan every one of it. So just accuracy is like you just got to scan it out and
Yeah.
make sure you're doing that because it makes
that'll
a
dictate
difference.
everything.
It does, yeah, and it saves you a lot of hassle. It saves, and that's another big part of the business that you're, like you're talking about efficiency, and that's extremely important. But also, efficiency extends outside of the warehouse, because if you're sending things out and they're being returned, or you're sending things out and the numbers are wrong, then there's a ripple effect that happens where you have to amend invoices or amend sales orders, and then you have to do returns sometimes, which is reversing a bunch of work you just did, and then adding another thing to it.
Yeah, and then I tell the team, I said, work as, fast, as accurate as you can, but if it doesn't go out, it doesn't go out, because I'd rather us, hey, why didn't it go out? Hey, we didn't have time, rather than waiting 5 days and the customer gets in, it's wrong.
Sure. Accuracy over speed, yes.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
Absolutely.
So if it's not going to go out right, we don't ship it out.
So one day it's like, yeah, we're going to get it sent out, but then I'd rather...
And that's kind of what I was getting at with Hayden. We weren't shipping anything there. It was all local delivery, and if we could fix a mispick because they could come back and grab it at the warehouse. It would suck for the driver, but we were kind of the opposite, like thinking there, because it was just a different layout, a different type of business. But we were speed over accuracy there for sure. We had all these trucks to load, and it was always crunch time, always a small window, and it is everywhere. But we were able to kind of have the padding of if a driver was at a local gas station and he was like, I'm missing a 12-pack of Coors, we could have someone run him a 12-pack of Coors. You can't do that across the country. So yeah, that's awesome insight.
You also were a big part of bringing all this stuff when we went down to at Drip Drop in Garden
yeah,
City.
no.
Everybody would argue with me about I didn't need location.
I remember
I didn't
that.
need this, so I'd have to go get you, and they would listen to you.
Yeah,
like,
then I could give some context to that. You're right. So Doug and Troy and the owners here, that's kind of the beautiful thing about this job is that they will be passionate about what they think, but they know when they're not the expert at something. And that was one of those moments, a very profound moment, actually, because it did lead to us being able to really create these efficient processes. I remember Doug and Troy, I believe, kind of fighting you on locations, and you were telling them, no, we need locations. We need this to be accurate. And they were in agreement with the likes of Noah and Josh.
Yeah, we were all on the same page.
Yeah, everybody, they were all against Jacki with the whole location thing. And then Jacki she kind of confided in me, hey, they're fighting me on this. Can you believe it? These guys don't know what the fuck they're talking about, And I said, you're right. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And so I went and kind of had Jacki's back. I don't think I was the only one that convinced them that we needed to implement it, but I think it helped kind of push it over the edge. They said, well, Jacki's telling us this thing that we believe differently. But I kind of came and backed her up, and I've done that a lot. Jacki's done it for me a lot as well. And same with Noah. Everybody in operations has had to have each other's back when we had to take hard stances on things. But the good thing is typically, even if there's a fight, even if people butt heads, if we're, in this struggle with the ownership or with a different department, usually it becomes amicable at a certain point, and everything works out in the end, and we're always right, just so everybody knows.
Yeah.
Always right.
Always right.
Everybody else is wrong. We're always right. That's the point of what I'm trying to say here. So the next point I kind of want to cover is what do you guys enjoy about being managers of the warehouse? Is it just the work and just the grind of building something new, or is it like an actual passion that you guys enjoy the employees? What is it about it that you guys like?
I love logistics. I love everything about it. I love slotting. I love efficiency. It's my passion.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm 66 years old and I should retire. I don't want to. I love what I do.
Yep.
I love making sure things go efficiently. And if we have an issue, me and Noah will sit down and we'll figure out how to fix it. If we can't, we'll grab Mikey, we'll grab Jim. But it's just fun. And also the owners pretty much now they've learned to trust us out there.
Because we're always right. Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, we get to do what we want to do.
And that's no lie. It's really blown my mind. I've never met someone quite as, you really do like live and breathe your work. It's unbelievable. It really is. Like you meet people who are passionate about what they do. And a lot of times people kind of do work as the thing that they do to make money. You truly enjoy grinding
She'd
it
do
out.
it for free.
Oh yeah, it's mind blowing. She's almost had to do it for free a couple times.
She still would have.
What about you, Noah? What do you like about it? Are you is it
So
learning? Is it
so the whole learning process of the whole thing? I mean, it's incredible. I was never in a warehouse job before this, and so
yeah? You were like a nail driver.
I was a nail driver, building your houses, all that stuff, putting light bulbs in, taking care of people. But
Sure.
so it was the first time. It's learning curve for me, but I loved it, and I like learning, and I'm always still gonna learn. And I've learned. I mean, compared to where I was the first day to now, I mean, I've come a long way, and I like the atmosphere. I like managing people. I feel like I'm nice to people. Like, hey, we can do
Yeah,
this.
he's nice and I'm mean.
I'm a little too nice. Bad cop, good cop.
Yeah. Oh
but,
no, it does work out that way.
but it's just a good sense to just be here, and it's family oriented, and literally it is.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I like to watch things grow and build, and to where we were 6 years ago, 1 million a year. We were like, oh my god, we made it, and then now we're like 60 million.
It's
So
been fun to watch you grow.
Yeah, and I was gonna say the same thing.
And no, you have grown
I've
so much
grown,
from when
yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, and
you
Noah's got a
became-
baby face. He looks young.
You
He is young.
became very professional.
Almost 25.
You've just impressed. You own it. You do it, and I'm just really proud of you. Like I'm your mother, but I'm very proud of you.
You guys see the friendship, the budding friendship here, and these guys they hang out outside of work. They do it all. They go on dates.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. But it's and the cool thing is that all of those things that you guys both mentioned filter down through the rest of the employees, and we have such a solid group of people here at this point. It feels like the people that are here aren't just here because in the early days it was stress. Still, days can be stressful no matter what. But in the early days, it was like there was a lot of hurry up and wait. There was like everybody would get here to work and it was like some sort of big project, or we got to build something, or we got to like create a new process, or everyone's got to learn a new thing. And now that everybody's kind of getting into the pocket, those things you guys are explaining, like with how the work is just fulfilling in general, and it's interesting and it's dynamic, and humans want those things. Don't want to go to work and stare at a wall. Everybody wants to feel like they're doing something. They want to feel like they're being efficient. They want to feel like, and that filters down from you guys to the rest of the warehouse. And when you walk out in the warehouse, these guys are smiling. They're having a good time. They're working hard, but they're also enjoying their time here. And despite Jacki's best efforts, they're having fun.
I hate it when people are happy.
Yeah,
know,
she doesn't like that.
Get that smile off
No,
your
just
face.
kidding. She's so sweet, even though she looks like she's eats snails for breakfast.
Wow, I do.
We've been talking to people out in the market, and people are slowing down. There's a lot of companies that are kind of dipping in sales, and they're slowing down. What kind of? I mean, obviously we're fighting against it. Everybody is, but we're out at shows, and when our sales people are coming back from shows, they're hearing, and the owners and everybody else that goes to the shows, it's not just salespeople that go out there. They're talking to other business owners in the space, and we're hearing, that this is just kind of been a tough chunk of the year for everybody. It's not, it's not just us. When those type of things happen, obviously problems come up, but picking business up, obviously we're growing. Everybody's always growing, or we're trying to grow. What kind of other hurdles do you guys foresee in the future? And are you preparing for anything, or do you feel pretty comfortable with how the warehouse is built out? I guess future roadblocks, and how do you get over them?
Space.
Yeah, I was just going to say that space. In fact, we've started sending pallets to a third-party
Facility,
company
yeah.
to store them.
Yeah. That's kind of a fight forever. We're really getting to that point in here, though. We're kind of bursting at the seams for that. And that's actually something, I'm glad you brought that up, because that's very important. Space is a huge issue for not just us, it's kind of for everybody. Even like just personally, like myself, storage, I have a storage unit, and when I got that storage unit like 2 years ago, and it's been going on since then, I remember driving into it, and we have a local business, Les Schwab Tires. There was 25 units with the doors open with Les Schwab guys storing tires in a personal storage unit.
Oh wow.
And then the unit I have is, a tiny unit. It's 10 by 15. It's $300 a month. It's just the demand for storage, not just in, the private realm, the citizen realm. It's like the business realm too. We can't just go out and get 1,000 square foot storage unit to stack some pallets in. We're having to reach out to other services for that. And I'm sure other people are dealing with that issue. What else on top of that, outside of storage?
Employees. we have like that we hire within, and so we lost an employee just recently. Alex, he was probably our best shipper,
Yep.
and he had the opportunity to go to marketing.
Yep.
He's done some of that in school, and they hired him in marketing.
Oh,
so,
and he's killing it there
oh yeah,
too.
and so there's that growth is starting to hurt us. We have another employee they're talking about taking to sales.
Yep.
So that kind of affects how.
And then
Yeah,
they took a previous one, Garrett. They took Garrett from us.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Motu did.
Yeah, it does seem to be like
Poached.
they're poaching the warehouse. The warehouse is where people kind of enter a lot of times into the business, but they grow out of it, and that is a big issue because you're constantly kind of the new blood is constantly being flowed through the warehouse. How do you guys doing with seeking out new employees and I know it's harder than it has been in the past, but what are you guys doing? What kind of services are you using to bring people in?
We do a lot through Indeed.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And then calling up
word of
other
mouth.
companies. Yeah.
What about temp services?
We do once in a while use temp services.
Few
There's a new
times.
one out there that we like, Bacon, but
Bacon.
we try not to use temp services.
Yeah.
Only if we have big projects and whatnot that need,
It has been a while since I've seen anybody here that I didn't recognize.
I want to keep it that way.
Yes.
Don't put any projects anymore. No projects.
So another thing that's kind of I mean I'm gonna kind of brag for you guys, but I'll let you explain it. How did we get to the turnaround time that we have here? Because Drip Drop has kind of a standard that we've set ourselves where we try to turn orders around in the same day. A lot of our stuff is same day shipping. How do we accomplish that?
Organization, having the right people in the right places, SOPs, having good management. I mean, just all that, just guess so your team, they're prideful, they own their job, so they want to get stuff out.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a whole effort of it, that the whole team out there, we want to get orders out so that, our customers can get their stuff, and
The owners are happy, and I think we're the only business that does same day shipping.
I think a lot of places probably
Other than like
try.
Amazon. Like Amazon.
No, we do you guys do work hard to do that, and it wasn't always that way, and it's not like that for everybody. I mean, there are distributors out there that are great and that do turn things around very quickly, but we do, large scale pallet orders same day a lot of times, and
those will be what will be left sometimes if a pallet order comes in after 2:00. Unfortunately, it won't make it up because we have to have reserved a truck before that, so it won't make it out. But we'll have it packed and ready to go the next day.
yeah, it's pretty phenomenal how fast you
Yeah,
guys
about
turn
90.
things around.
I'd say about 90% of the orders go out same day.
Yeah, and I wanted to I kind of wanted to pat you guys on the back for that, and not make you guys do it to yourselves, but it really is.
Thank you, Mikey.
It really is phenomenal, and it does pay off. Customers see that we care and that it's not just for us, it's for them too, because we know how it is on both sides. We're also a customer. We have vendors. We buy, we're a distributor, but we distribute things that we also buy from other people, and it's so important. Shipping time and speed, and
Presentation of the box, that's something when we first started doing it, we just throw stuff in a box. Now they take the time to make the inside, when you open the box, it looks nice.
yeah,
Everything's
That's
packed nice.
that's so
It doesn't
important.
move. We've changed our pallets, so we actually make them. Well, you do a lot to them now.
They get banded corners, do not stack them, and we made a whole effort to change the dynamic of how people are receiving the pallets
Sure.
and any other package. I mean,
Well, and that's like a perceived value thing. I know that Doug really pushed that. He was all into having branded tape for the boxes and all that stuff, and but it's true. It's not bullshit. When we have stuff show up here and it's all dinged up and beat up from forklifts and mangled, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good for us to receive it that way. And then also, again, kicks off a whole bunch of processes that have to happen, because then we got to get return shipping labels and credits and all of those things. And so, yeah, you guys do the corners, the banding. You use the black wrap. That's huge. The do not stack signs, like all of those things are small things that other business owners in this space could do to really not only up their presentation but it's a perceived value. It does add cost to the process. Not a cost that's very painful to eat. It takes a little bit more time, but man, the payoff is huge. When you meet a customer at a trade show or out there in the streets or wherever we're sending whoever, and they put in an order and they are going to spend six figures with us or less. I mean, it doesn't have to be a big order, but typically with pallets, it's kind of a high dollar order when you're ordering in those kind of volumes. and their pallet shows up and it's perfectly stacked. It's it's easy for them to receive. It's easy for them to count. There's a picking slip or a packing slip. There's it's cornered, it's banded, it's not been stacked on top of, nothing's crushed. That is something that I wish more places did. It wasn't just us, but we do it for a reason, and that reason pays off. That's why our customer base is loyal to us. They, part of the reason why. There's a lot of things that go into that, but the value that the perceived value from their side of it. Like if every pallet we ordered from one of our vendors showed up that way, we would be much happier humans.
It's
And
more efficient.
It is
more accurate.
yeah, and we're passing the efficiency on.
And
to
that's
them.
what we ship it out the way we would want to receive it.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yes, and that's there's so much value in that from the perception of your customers.
Yep.
You know, it makes us feel good. Yes, of course, we're doing a good job. We're sending out things that look nice. It's like arts and crafts or something almost. It's like when you finish a scrapbook, it feels good. You're like, wow, this looks nice. I put all this work into it. But it feels good for them. It feels good for us. It's like it pays itself off just in the fact that we're kind of setting an example for ourselves. We're holding ourselves to a standard that no one's really holding us to completely, but it also is setting an example for the next guy. If we're selling it to a sub distributor, then they're going to look at our pallet and be
And be like, I want it to be like theirs.
Yes.
Make it like Drip Drops. Make it like Drip Drops. Fucking send it out. That's
so
the goal.
we're trying to be trendsetters and kind of create a self-set bar and a standard inside of counterculture distribution, and we've done a pretty good job. You guys really are the ones that have driven how it looks, how it goes out, and it's the same for like resets. We're not the only distributor that goes out to stores and does resets. We actually covered that in a previous podcast. Doug, I told people if they bought from us, Doug would go to your store and reset your store for you. I don't know if that's an option for everybody, but it's a big deal. And when it comes to how the boxes are packed, even for that process, it's not just like, oh, they look pretty, they showed up pretty. When Doug and Motu and Base or whoever is going to go out and do a 30 store reset, and you guys are sending out those products to land to them, you think all the way through the process of how are they going to unpack this box and set it as fast as possible. So it really is something that's born and created and brought out through you and Noah and the rest of the warehouse too. It's just really impressive. And I know that there's people out there that are listening to this that are like, what the fuck are these guys talking about? Because they're not in the business, but there are people out there listening, and that's who this is being aimed at, really, is people out there who are, sub distributors, business owners also, who may be, questioning their own processes or creating a process or building a business.
Or trying to start. Yeah, it's good.
It's good information for everybody. These are small things that nobody talks about. There's nobody out there writing a blog about how do you pack a fucking box, but you do it well, make it look good, make it secure, make sure that nothing's getting broken, but you can also make it look nice. You don't have to it doesn't have to all be thrown in there. The next thing I want to go into is we've had a return policy. and I know that you guys kind of have to deal with the ramifications, the downside of the return policy, but what is it and why is it valuable?
Well, the owner, Doug, he wants to return for every customer because he said they're our partners. And so if you're our partner and you have something that's not selling, Doug wants to take it back and get you something in your store that sells because it's part of our partners. So that's what's so important to Doug, that we do that.
Yeah, and I've seen that's kind of been going on since the very beginning. Doug's always been big on returns, and it's kind of one of those things where that is a real value to our customer base, but it's a pain in the ass for the warehouse here. The good thing is you guys have created a process around it for bringing it back in and returning it into inventory, inspecting it, all of
ever changing.
Yes, it is ever changing. but what do you think? Why do you think that's? I totally agree with Jacki that it's get what's not selling in your store off the shelf, and I really wish we had Doug in here to kind of expand on that. But is there anything else you can think of?
I mean, it gives us opportunity, and honestly, nobody else does it.
Yeah.
Nobody does it. Nobody takes returns.
Level.
Not in this level or this industry, really. But I mean, the types of shit we bring back,
It also opens the doors for our salesmen.
Yeah.
So if you have a credit on there for a couple $1,000s, then one of our salesmen can say, hey,
Ring, ring.
you got a credit. We got this new product in. And that they can upsell and get new products into different
Sure.
stores.
It's a blessing with a curse.
Yeah.
Curse is, it's always happened.
Well, and the
Not always. No, I should say always. So.
Sure. The thing about the salesman side of it is you definitely don't want to make it a thing that incentivizes the salesman to try to swap products around, you know.
No,
Obviously
please
there's
no.
ways to sell through inventory, and we have a lot of methods for that, you know. And when people call in and say maybe, okay, well, I got this product and I've had it on the shelf and it's not moving so fast, this is something we really need to cover in another podcast, because that's a whole other like realm of issue. But you know, we do have processes which we'll explain another day. Yeah, we can explain that on another podcast another day. But the salesman will help you. They'll throw out ideas at you. If you're stuck with some stuff that's not moving there, it may not be the product. It may be the region you're in. It may be the way you're marketing it or the way you're putting it in front of customers. It would blow your mind how something as small as changing it from a hook to a countertop display can change how something sells in a store.
The whole dynamic.
And yeah, our sales guys are trained to talk about those things. You know, obviously we do take returns and we will swap things out. But there's methods that these guys are taught by Doug and taught by the ownership here that make it give you a couple of options before you have to get to that point. Obviously we do it no matter what, but there's ways that Drip Drop will work with you. And Jacki put it really eloquently that it is like a partnership. Doug never looks at it like I use the term, you know, customer, distributor, vendor, you know, all these like really regular standardized terms. But you know, Doug really is a person who's pushed it through this company and pushed it through the sales team, that when we sell to people, we want to partner with them. It's not just, okay, we sold it to you, we wipe our hands clean, eat shit. It's you know, we want to, like I said, Doug's reset. He'll reset your store. He'll go to you. He'll help you. We'll help you. Everybody here. And it adds a lot of value. It really does. So, last thing I really want to cover is what keeps you guys here. I know that you enjoy it, and I know that you, Jacki, you're getting close to retirement, even though we don't want that. We do not want Jacki to leave. We need Jacki. Noah, you're young. You have the world's in front of you. You could go do whatever you want. You're smart. You're dynamic. You've learned a ton here, but you also could, you could start your own business. There's a lot of things, a lot of doors that are open for you. What makes you guys want to stay here and continue to grow this business? Is it just kind of something you're doing for now, or is it permanent for you?
I wouldn't say permanent. I see myself being here for quite longer. That doesn't even make fucking
Quite
sense.
a while longer.
I'm gonna be here longer, like much longer. But
Sure.
in the long run, I mean, eventually I'm gonna become a preacher at some point in my life. I don't fucking know when.
I don't fucking know when I'm going to be a preacher.
That's what I'm fucking
Very
saying.
good. So that's why we're good friends, because he's
And that's his
wacko,
wife.
like me.
It's gonna get to the other generations. But
Noah's gonna become
I
a
like the
fucking
atmosphere.
preacher.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a fucking preacher.
It just
But no,
doesn't work.
it's just a great place to be. I like the dynamic. I like the growth. I really just to see where we were starting, to see where I was as a person, to becoming who I am now. I'm married. I have a kid. I'm doing things right, and I'm not being some naive child, which I can be and still will be.
We all can, even at my age.
But
Oh yeah,
guaranteed. I love it and I hate it here. I think everyone has that relationship with any job, but the love, definitely
outweighs
the hate.
Yeah. Well, we all have our
I just
days.
don't like waking up early.
Sure, yeah.
Unless it's going on.
We're early birds. Noah's not an early
Yeah,
bird.
no.
We all know that.
I'm there 1 minute before. I'm here.
Well, yeah, and that's it's a very good point to make, because you started here very young. You've grown just in general as far as developing as an adult goes, but also grown in business and grown in knowledge. And yeah, like I said, the world's wide open for you. You're an incredibly smart and incredibly tenacious person. You could do whatever you want. We're glad you're here. Obviously, everybody here is their own part of the glue that holds Drip Drop together. And then for you, Jacki, are you just hanging on until you retire, or what?
I love what I do, and I don't want to ever retire.
Yeah.
I love hanging out with all you guys. You're like my best friends.
Yep.
You guys keep me young. Well, mentally, I feel young. I use words like dope and
Yeah.
lit.
Fire. And
Yeah,
lit.
my whip. I mean,
Slay
yeah.
queen.
She's not
In
lying.
fact, my
She
granddaughters
says
are
these
like,
things.
did you hear Grandma just say dope or lit? But yeah,
Jackie's a big TikToker too. Yeah,
I've learned so much.
She tells us a ton about. She's really.
I bet that dog.
She's got her fingers on the pulse of what young people are into. She comes in here. She dressed. Look at the way she's dressed. She's wearing freaking Tiger King cheetah print.
Cheetah
Whatever,
print
yeah.
right
She's
here.
crushing it.
All
We
right,
love
yeah.
Jackie, and
Yeah.
I love working with you guys. I always have. You guys have been here for longer than anybody else outside of me and Doug. I don't think there's anybody else that have been here as long as you guys.
You and then Troy and then Troy and then me and then Noah.
Oh, that's right. Troy was here. You're right.
But you were here
that's how
before
Noah
Troy.
got in.
Yes, that is.
Fuck that. No.
No, we would have took Noah with or without Troy. I'll tell you that right now. We don't need him.
Yeah,
But I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for talking with me. And thank you guys for joining us. We're really trying to grow this Drip Drop Distro studio. We can't wait to continue to share things, continue to share knowledge in-house. We want to grow this along with the business, along with you guys. We love you, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.